Well, it's time for world politics, and of course, a lot of things are going on in the political landscape, and we'll be talking about those things here on the network and seeing what folks have to say about a variety of these stories and what's going on in their world and the world of politics as well. So, like I said, a lot's taking place, and we're always glad to be reporting on that here on the Pod TV and seeing what you have to say about a number of these stories and how they are impacting you and all along those lines. So, like I said, we've got a lot going on, and we'll be glad to be talking about those. We'll see which of the regular crew joins us. I've got to get some guests lined up, and they'll be coming in the near future, but not today, and all along those lines. So, definitely we'll be adding some other perspectives to this particular network as I try to bring in some people from around the world since it is world politics and all along those lines. So it ought to be some interesting conversations that we should be having, and I'm looking forward to seeing what folks have to say about a number of these stories that are impacting them and how they are impacting them and all along those lines. So like I said, it ought to be quite interesting, and we're looking forward to hearing folks' reports and what they've got to say about a number of these stories that are out there and how they are being impacted by them. And like I said, we'll see if Sasha Starr or others join us on this particular afternoon to see what they've got on their mind as well. But like I said, a lot's going on in the world, so we're always glad to be covering these various stories and seeing what folks have to say about them from their perspective and all along that kind of way. So like I said, we know that there have been a lot of conversation around Ukraine, Russia, and how that war is going on and continues to rage on and all along those lines. And we'll have, of course, our Russia-Ukraine show on tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes and what folks have to say about that at that particular time and all in that kind of way. So definitely that is one of the stories that people are talking about and that they are very interested in. And so, of course, we're always glad to report on these stories as well. So definitely that is something that people are paying attention to and have definitely been intrigued by and all in that way. So definitely we'll see what folks have to say about that particular story as well as others that are coming our way. And like I said, we're hoping to be joined by some of the folks from the network and get their perspective on a number of these stories that are out there and what they've got to go in that situation and along those lines. But definitely a lot of folks are paying attention to a number of news stories that are out there. And of course, I'll be reporting on them here on World Politics, and then we'll see who joins us from the network, if anybody does. So this may be one of those 30-minute ones or one of those full hour-long shows, but we'll see how it all plays out depending on who joins us in these particular shows. CNN has got a fact check. Trump repeats numerous debunked claims at a UK news conference with Starmer. Trump is suggesting Starmer could use the military to control the UK borders. And Trump says he disagrees with Starmer's decision to recognize the Palestinian state. So Trump tells Britain to call out the military to control its borders. So that is something that is being talked about as well. Saudi Arabia signs a mutual defense pact with nuclear-armed Pakistan after Israel's attacks on Qatar. So that is something that is definitely world news related and all along those lines. And cataclysmic situation in Gaza City, UN officials say, as Israeli tanks continue to advance. So we're definitely seeing that going on as Israel is turning Gaza City into a lifeless wasteland and is attacking Lebanon as well. So definitely that is something that is being reported in the news. And Starmer and Trump had a united front cracks on subject of Russia-Ukraine war. Europe is taking on more leadership in Ukraine as the U.S. steps back, and Keir Starmer is essentially begging the United States to or begs Trump to be tougher on Putin. So we'll see if this is something that will happen or not happen in that situation. And workers across France are striking over budget cut plans. So French union strikes against austerity, pressuring Macron, and anti-austerity strikes and protests are gripping France. More than 1 million protests across France against the budget cuts and all along those lines. So that's something that we're seeing in the news as well. And the EU lays out new tariffs and sanctions on Israel over the war in Gaza. I see Sasha has joined me, so I'm gonna bring him on and see what he's got on his mind as we get ready to do another one of these 30-minute world politics shows and all along those lines. So how are you doing, Sasha? How's things going in your world? What are you hearing in your news?
Oh, nothing special. I'm following Trump's trip to UK and following all this talks about Kirk's mm, demise, the killing of Kirk. There are a lot of conspiracy theories around, although everybody already knows who is accused, who killed him, and so on. But every half an hour, a new conspiracy theory. For example, Iran is pushing conspiracy theories that it was Israel and the Jews were actually conspiring and finally killed Kirk. Although I I'm surprised with that because, but conspiracy theory, you shouldn't be surprised of anything. Uh, China is considering different angle that it's in US, the country is falling apart, and that's the reason why they're killing each other, they're killing their own leaders, and that's the way to go. Russia is also pushing some conspiracy theories on their own to suggest that the Kirk he was disliked by all people, including Christians and including MAGA people, and of course the person, this 22 years old boy who killed him, he is MAGA, he is Christian, he is this and that. So it's hard to say. Mark, probably you heard many more.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. Yeah, definitely there've been all kinds of rumors. I try to stay away from those conspiracy theories and everything. I did see, and I know y'all will talk about it tomorrow, that it looks like y'all are targeting, meaning the Ukraine, the Russian oil refinery. So it looks like those strikes intensified today, and that could be a good plus in that particular situation. So, any thoughts around that? Because it looks like the drones have targeted several key Russian refineries.
Yeah, needed more and more and every day. And I'm waiting this new missiles what Ukrainians made. It's it can hit target at 3,000 kilometers away with a only 14 meters is allowed to be away from the center of the target.
Oh,
Only
wow.
14 meters, and it's a huge missile, very powerful, 3,000 kilometers. And from what I understand, neither US or Russia or anybody else even have that type of missiles.
Yeah.
They're making now seven missiles a day. So once they will be able to collect anywhere from 75 to a couple of hundred missiles, why is it important to have so many? It's important to hit Russian targets every single day. You cannot do 5, 10 missiles and then wait for another week. No, it has to be every day as a clock, a little bit of here and there, the west and the east and the south and the north, everywhere. So every point, every city, every refinery in Russia could be target of these missiles, and it will be every day. Once that's happened, then nobody needs Trump, nobody needs US, nobody needs anything. You have just everything in
Yeah,
power yourself.
yeah, that makes sense and everything like that. But I just saw that Elon Musk says the UK needs a revolutionary change of government, and even Trump during his visit is asking the UK to do what he is doing. So it looks like he's trying to bring his brand of martial law to the world because he was telling Keir Starmer that he needed to use the military to squash some of the rebellions and some of the people that are going against him and everything like that. So is Trump just going to try to have every government do what he's doing here in the U.S. and have martial law all over the place? Because that's basically what he was telling Keir Starmer is to bring out his military.
No, I think Trump will be busy with his own fight against American people. He will be very busy and increasingly so. He wants to crush Democratic Party, just physically crush. He's not interested to prepare gerrymandering elections. He just wants to crush Democratic Party, liberal movement, everything, just crush it, go ahead. And he's doing actually terrific job of energizing his MAGA base. Talking about it, it's unthinkable to me even today how the murder of Kirk could be assigned to liberals or Democrats or whoever. Yet it going on the screens of TV every 10 minutes or so, and how they do it, and they must know something there. They probably are very successful manipulators, and it bears its fruits.
Yep. Well, Zelensky seems to be very happy because apparently he is saying that one of the Five Eyes countries, Australia, is helping shut down Kremlin's oil pipeline. So apparently they've sanctioned 95 Russian Shadow Fleet vessels, and a lot of people are excited that Australia is doing further actions to constrain Russian oil revenue. So, what's your thought on this? Because it looks like this could be another way to choke Russians' oil refineries and everything like that, in both the bombings, but also other governments doing their part to make sure that it's not going out into the world.
Yeah, yeah, I think everything helps. You know what's the most important thing is that you see Trump. He loves to have deals with the thugs like himself. Well, it's Putin, Emperor Xi, all these Middle Eastern monarchs, and all this. They're all liars. They are all criminals. And Trump, by being one of them, loves to deal with these people. He feels like, oh, this is my people. This is what I understand. All of a sudden, he now has been catapulted into real high society, the highest society probably in the world, the monarchy of UK, and all of a sudden he feels like he's out of place there. He's a clown, and his behavior is how he behaved there during this trip. It's hilarious. It's pitiful. Yet he was very pleased,
Yep.
except the moment when King Charles mentioned that the all free world is with Ukraine, and we must all support Ukraine. And the idiot was sitting and staring somewhere. He wouldn't say even a word. Say exactly what you think. Say that you love Putin, you hate Zelensky. Say it, moron. No, he didn't. He didn't.
Right. Him and Putin still probably talking to each other regularly and everything like that. They probably have regular phone conversations and everything along like that. It looked like Russia's doing some serious other attacks on other UK countries and other European countries. Because I just saw this story where UK, Lithuania, and Latvia, which I know are two small countries,
Yeah.
detained people over allegations of arson and spying for Russia. So this was apparently having to do with a Russian-backed parcel bomb. So they were using, it looks like they were using DHL planes and everything like that, but definitely looks like they were definitely going after some of these smaller countries. So is this war just going to get spread further and further? Because I know there was that whole thing around Poland, and now we got Lithuania involved, and now we got Latvia and a number of other countries that are getting pulled in. So do you expect that we're going to have a full European style war, if not a world war, in that sense, as more countries get pulled in? I know you follow this regularly, so I'm just wondering your thoughts as to how involved we're going to see the other countries.
Well, as long as Ukraine is free and is able to fight Russians, there will be no war in Europe because Ukraine, together with European countries, specifically Eastern Europe, Poland, Baltic states, Scandinavian countries. That's all that they need to stop Russians. They don't need anything. Well, UK probably will join, but they don't need anything else. And if somehow either Russia will prevail and win the war, or even in case of some kind of peace, and Russia is now free to maneuver because Ukraine is no longer in behind fighting Russians. Now they can go into Europe, Baltic states, Poland, Moldova, and all the rest of Europe.
Yeah. What's your thoughts about, because Trump is suggesting, he said this earlier today, and some people say that this is one of the wars that we had a hard time with, and definitely the Russians had a hard time with and everything. But Trump is suggesting U.S. troops could return to the Afghan base over the concerns around China and China doing what has been done by Russia to Ukraine, to Taiwan, and other nations around the South Pacific and everything like that. So, what is your take on this notion of U.S. troops going back to Afghanistan? Because I know that that is one of the wars that people in the past have felt that we, I wouldn't say lost, but definitely did not do a good job of having a resounding victory.
Well, a few things. First of all, Trump has made promise that there will be no more wars that U.S. will participate. There will be no more boots of U.S. soldiers on different countries and elsewhere. So he is going to violate one of his major promises. That's okay because he's lying every day several times, so that's not a big deal. I'm trying to figure out under what pretense, what's mechanism of getting American troops into Afghanistan. Like Afghanistan is, from what I understand, is an independent country. And so what US is going to do, how they will, is they going to call to the leader of the Afghanistan and say, well, in half an hour we are going to bring our troops, get ready. How it's going to work? Do you have any ideas?
I have no idea how that would work. I mean, we got troops spread throughout the country, and I actually have relatives that are in the military, so I know that there are different bases. So I guess he'd have to pull them from one base to another, and all along those lines, and even bring some of them from other foreign countries down to Afghanistan.
No. My question is not from where he's going to get his troops. What was the pretense, under what auspices he will land these troops into Afghanistan while Afghanistan is being independent country? So he has to denounce Afghanistan as independent country. He has to offer.
The notion is that
like what?
The notion that I've heard him suggest is that they, as well as others, are concerned about the rising power of China. So he said that he's working to reestablish a U.S. presence at the Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan, 4 years after Americans' chaotic withdrawal from the country left the base in the Taliban's hands. So definitely he floated that idea while he was with Keir Starmer as he wrapped up his state visit, and he tied it up in the need for the U.S. to counter its top rival, China. So it's a way for him to counter whatever influences China is having in that part of the world.
Wait a sec. So he was talking about the Greenland, making Canada 51st state. So Afghanistan, what is going to make it 52nd state? Under what pretense it's being an independent country? So American troops are coming. So they need somewhere like permission for their aircrafts to land. What about this military base? Is it still American base? What's your opinion?
I think that we gave that base was given up to, and that's what they said. He's going to reestablish it because they gave it up, and I think the Taliban had it for a while, so it wasn't in even our hands. So I guess he's going to have to try to take it back from the Taliban.
So he has to offer something to Taliban. I ask them to get lost from that base. That base always wars, and it will be American. Get out, otherwise we will kill you all. And that's a plan. Okay, probably.
That's probably his plan because, like I said, a lot of people say that the Afghanistan debacle was one of the things that hurt Biden the most, and I'm sure there were other things that hurt him as well. So definitely, a lot of folks are put that at Biden's foot in terms of responsibility. So I'm sure that there are people that are like, well, good, he's going to come back and take it over. And if we got to kill a couple of Taliban, so be it, and everything like that. So I think that that's probably Trump's attitude because apparently, oh, well, and he's doing a typical thing because I see this quote that you're going to love and everything like that. So it's the article says it's unclear if the U.S. has any direct or indirect conversation with the Taliban government about returning to the government, but Trump hinted that the Taliban, who have struggled with an economic crisis, international legitimacy, internal rift, and rival militant groups since their return to power in 2021, could be game to allow the U.S. military to return. We're trying to get it back because they need things from us. So it's a typical Trump idea of doing some negotiation. So he's going to try to negotiate it, and it'd be like maybe he's going to give the Taliban a couple of tanks or something like that, and then they'll give the base back to us and everything like that. So he's doing his typical negotiations.
Well, the Taliban knows Trump is a real estate guy.
Right.
They can offer him to sell this base for I don't know, maybe $50 billion or something. And okay, now it's all yours. You can operate, and good luck.
Yep, could be that because last week the Taliban said that they reached an agreement with U.S. envoys on an exchange of prisoners as part of an effort to normalize relationships between the United States and Afghanistan. So maybe these prisoners are tied into what he's trying to do as well. So maybe he's going to get some prisoners, much the way that he got Brittany Griner back from the time that she was in Russia and everything like that, and that other couple of other folks as well. So maybe this is an effort to do that kind of negotiation. We'll see how this all plays out. But yeah,
I think what would be interesting if Trump would offer to Putin together take over Afghanistan and operate there together. That would be quite interesting development.
Yeah, and both of those countries had bad relationships and lost a significant popularity because of their stance in Afghanistan. So yeah, that would be interesting if they've decided to do it as a joint venture. Speaking of joint ventures, maybe it's just me and everything along those lines, but they just named for Turning Point, and she just lost her husband and everything. But if I was the spouse, any spouse of somebody that had just been assassinated, I don't know if I'd want that job. But apparently, Erica Kirk, who just recently lost her husband and who has two kids, young kids, is going to be the new CEO of Turning Point USA. So, what's your thoughts on that? Because, like I said, maybe it's just me, but if I saw my spouse get gunned down and everything, I don't think I'm going to be rushing to that job.
Well, there are several examples. For example, you remember Navalny, he was killed by Putin, and his wife, she sort of declared herself that she will continue his ideas and his business and so on. And so far, it doesn't really work for her very well because she can't even establish herself as the face of Russian opposition or anything. She's also some of her statements are quite. I wouldn't call them ridiculous, but close to that. Now, Erica Kirk, from what I understand, she's pregnant, by the way. Is she?
Oh, she's got another baby expected? Because I knew they had two kids, but there's another one on the way as well?
I think she is expecting another baby. Because that could distract her, and maybe she's better to take care of her babies and whoever is going to be born soon. I don't know how soon. That's what I heard. She's pregnant.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Listen, I wish her good luck, and we'll see what she can do.
I wish her good luck too. We're getting ready to wrap up. We'll do a 30-minute one on this one and everything. But before we wrap up, this is an interesting story about one of our other favorite people and all along those lines. But RFK Jr. has announced the move to decertify organ procurement organizations. And like I said, I've even got family members of my own that have gotten new hearts and new other organs because he's got an effort to reform organ donation. So apparently, in his efforts to do things to make America healthy again, he's announced the firing of the organ transplant group after what he is saying are safety problems. So he's going to shut down the Florida Organ Transplant Group, citing safety issues. And it looks like this could be something interesting. Hopefully, he doesn't shut down other ones in the country. Maybe it's just stuck to Florida and everything. But I know a lot of folks that need to get new kidneys and new hearts and new various organs, but this could not be a good positive thing. So then again, I understand he doesn't really have a background in science and in medicine, but he's the head of that agency. So what's your think on this? I'm sure you probably got family members or even maybe you yourself have had to deal with new organs and everything, but apparently he's trying to shut down organ transplants.
Well, here's what's happened when you put the highly incompetent people who have nothing to do with the job that they're doing or trying to do. And this is a tragedy for many people, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that's what it is.
Yep. Unfortunately, that's it. That's the sad face of what goes on and all along those lines.
Yeah. Mark, I would like to, before we finish, I would like to ask you what to do about YouTube.
What did I do? What?
YouTube.
I'm trying to figure out what to do about it because, like I said, that's a Kim thing. She said that she got bounced off of the YouTubes and everything like that. So if she's bounced, and I think it's primary her account, then I got to figure that out. I know that one of the things that happens on YouTube is it's because it's a network, meaning Pod TV, we're only allowed to have a certain amount of shows on the YouTube channel. So sometimes it bounces between the Pod TV YouTube and the Pod TV movie YouTube. I think this one was on the regular Pod TV and everything like that. But I do know that she did announce that there was some things going on with YouTube on our other show. But she did say that she might be making an appeal. So hopefully that appeal will come through and be a positive appeal and everything.
Okay, Mark, that's all fine, but it doesn't serve my purposes. My purposes is to have YouTube programs available. I couldn't get to my programs even for Tuesday or whatever I have this week. I couldn't get into any of them. I was trying. I had a link, and the link shows me that YouTube is no longer available, and some other messages. So
And like I said, that is what I think Kim was talking about, is that because of
yeah,
what she posted, she got bounced. So we either got to find an alternative, which could be Facebook or Instagram or something like that, or we have to create our own YouTubes. I know that on some of my shows, I have Voice of the People, which ironically was my parents' radio station and everything like that. I might be able to shift that over here. But it looks like this show was live. It says it's live, but I'll double check it and everything. But it says that what we've been doing here was live on the regular Pod TV shows. And I think the one this morning was, and I'll try to send those to you and everything. And I think that what else have you done this week? Modern Investment and
it's not available. It's no longer available. My Ukrainian show for Tuesday is not available. I cannot find any of my previous YouTube programs. Nothing, zero.
like I said, I'll do some research on that and see what's going on with that. And if I got to re-air them onto other networks and then or other YouTubes and then send them to you, I will do that and everything along those lines. But yeah, there's no problem. I'll just see what I can do.
Okay, Mark, in the meantime, I sent links for tomorrow Ukrainian show and chess recordings. And I said that unfortunately, YouTube, as we speak, is no longer available for us. And we'll find out what to do.
Okay. And I'll do some research and try to see what I can do. And I'll also see if those are going where they should be going. I know that sometimes our leadership plays around with some of the things as they are trying to experiment and see what's going on their end. So I'll also talk to them and see what's happening.
Okay, Mark, check if I have YouTube channel Chess Stars. I'm not using it, but maybe it's about time start using Chess Stars and put my shows on this channel.
All
This
I would know, all I would need is your, because there are people like Stella that has it on her YouTube and some other people that have on their YouTube. All I would need from you is your password and codes, and then they can be attached, or you can do like they do. Because if you look on the edit, it says attached to your own YouTube as well. So you can attach up to two YouTube. So it could go to your YouTube as well as, say, in the chess show, David Regan's, Ken Regan's YouTube, if he has a YouTube. So there are ways that we can get around that and everything along those lines.
okay, okay. Let's do it tonight or tomorrow. So tomorrow Ukrainian show will be then available.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay. Thank you, Mark.
No problem.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.